Hey guys, and welcome to a multicast battle report. We do in fact have two games for today. And up first we have Ben the Barman leading the mighty Empire with a very interesting build here up against Cliff Booth in charge of the Bretonia. It looks like we actually have two friends facing off here as Gotrek sides with the Empire and Felix with the Bretonians. So let's pop this into slow motion quick and to go through the armies nice and quickly here. So up front for Ben the Barman, we do have 3 units of Pistoliers. I quite like these guys. I've actually been really impressed with Outriders with grenade launchers recently, but in this matchup, I can definitely see Pistoliers doing some very good skirmish work here. Now he's going for quite a small, but yet not too elite front line. We have cheap and cheerful spearmen on each flank, but it does look like they are chevroned all the way up to single gold chevrons there. And the one on the left-hand flank, double chevron, make them hold much, much longer. And I mean, it kind of makes sense up against Bretonia, who do like to bring a lot of cav, so these spearmen should do decent work up against light cavalry. We also have Sigma Sons, Regiment Round Swordsman in the main line here. Unbreakable, which is just so powerful in an army which has relatively low leadership like the Empire. For his leadership corps, we do have Volkmar the Grim up on top of his mighty pimp wagon, looking as majestic as all Sons of Sigma should be up here. And let's see what he has brought to the table. We have Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, Grand Hammer of Sigma, and a Banishment. Overall, will be an absolute powerhouse. Now, backing him up is his little dwarf friend here, Gotrek Gunnarsson, one of the most legendary and famous characters in all of Warhammer Fantasy, so it should be interesting to see what he brings to the table. He, of course, has brought Heroic Fortitude as well, which is quite nice there. So, over on the right-hand flank, we have some Demiglyph Knights, and we have the Lance version, not the Halberds. I haven't seen these guys used much at all recently. Halberds, I think, overall are considered far better option, but it'd be interesting to see how Ben gets them to work. Probably knows something I don't. We also have a Jade Wizard with Regrowth and Earthblood, which makes sense of all the amount of heroes he has. And a Steam Tank up on top of the hill. A mighty piece of beautiful architecture. Not architecture, sorry, kind of mechanical might, I suppose. Engineering skill. Can be popped on top, and it kind of makes sense again here. Will do decent damage to the cav. Needs to watch out for Grail Knights and so forth, though. So, for the Bretonians, he is given chase to the Pistoliers with a couple of units of mounted yeomen, light skirmishers. For the main battle line, we have Spearmen at Arms mixing with Battle Pilgrims, Men at Arms dotted in there as well, including Foot Squires, who will be a bit of a pain for the Empire to deal with. These guys can certainly pack a punch, at least considered, compared to most Bretonian infantry. And that looks like it is it for the front line. They're backed up, of course, by some Question Knights on either hand side, anti-infantry and decent armor piercing, and 1 unit of Grail Knights who have anti-infantry as well. These guys are going to be pretty deadly if they get into combat for a sustained amount of time. In the back, we have some men at arms as well, protecting a Damsel of Beast, coming in with Flock of Doom and the Manticore Summon. Manticore Summon's just such good value. And then for a leadership corps, we do in fact have the mighty Rapant. Pretty decent lord overall. Haven't seen her too much on foot, though. She's relatively cheap and cheerful. She does, of course, bring her magic sword with her and also her banner as well, buffing up nearby troops. And we can see the betrayer here, Felix, turning against Gotrek here. Going to be rocking alongside his new lady love. We can see that her pure devotion to the lady is clearly what swayed him over to this side. And he is bringing, of course, Helping Hand and Blood Oath. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. So it looks like the Pistoliers have managed to escape for the most part. In fact, leading these mounted yeomen all the way down to these spearmen. These guys need to get out of here, pursued for rather too long here, and in fact have been forced off already. Just sheer volume of bullets coming into them, slowly dragging those guys down. But, they're just peasants on horses. The horses are worth more than the peasants. So, overall, not too bad of a loss here. And Pistoliers are, in fact, trying to chase these guys down, but maybe intercepted by some Spearmen at Arms. Nice micro by Ben the Barman, though, pulling those guys out of harm's way. It looks like they're trying to hunt down these mounted yeomen as well. Volkmar's going to start rolling dirty up the hill, and we'll see what the steam tank is aiming at. It looks like it is firing. Come on, let's see what you're going to be shooting. It looks like he's shooting into the Question Knights. Not a bad target at all. And a couple of the brave Knights of Bretonia do go down as they race over to try and deal with the steam tank. But these guys aren't the anti-large Knights, so they may actually struggle a little bit here. They do have some Spearmen backing them up as well. And Demiglyph Knights counter-charging them in the rear here, flying in and starting to drag these guys down. So they're going to get a really nice charge bonus with those Lancers. Pistoliers are here to support as well. Of course, the steam tank does cause terror and is relatively decent in combat as well. You can see it poking down a few of the Knights there. So it looks like Volkmar is charging up the hill, and so is Gotrek here, going toe-to-toe with some men at arms. Nope. It looks like he's in fact switching sides and fighting once again with Felix as he charges downhill towards the Empire. But perhaps he's going to stop by these foot squires and get in the action there. Yeah, it looks like he's going to have a bit of a fight going there. So the leadership core of the Bretonnians are hopping straight onto the Sigma Suns. Not a bad target. They should be able to tear these guys down relatively effectively. Looks like the Pistoliers, though, are nicely positioned, hiding behind the spear wall of the Empire here. You're going to slowly lose this frontline engagement, but they will hold for absolutely ages, allowing the Pistoliers to get some nice damage over the top here. We do have a banishment that's come down, but it looks like it's a little bit of a swing and a miss for the most part. And Volkmar doing a decent job here, running over Battle Pilgrims, taking basically no damage. Now, the Steam Tank has been saved by the Demigryph Knights, up to 18 kills and basically taking no losses themselves. The Steam Tank now has perfect vision over the course of the whole battlefield, which is so nice. And the Demigryphs are just going on a rampage here, charging into these poor Battle Pilgrims and running them over so quickly. As for the Bretonnian backline, they really need to get these Mounted Yeomen and Ground Knights into the action. Lots of their army is just kind of standing around. They need to attack as one and put as much pressure on as possible. Of course, that's easy to say from a casting seat up here instead of actually kind of microing it all. Nice Ferromanticore Summon though, hopping on top of the Jade Wizard, but he is getting buffed here by the Grand Hammer of Sigma and the Shield, giving that nice damage resistance and will allow Volkmar to slap down this Ferromanticore rather quickly here. And the Spearmen are holding for the most part relatively well, in fact winning some of their engagements, or maybe not, but you know, they're going tit for tat fairly effectively. Pistoliers need to get shooting though and try and assist. Sigma Suns are basically gone now, cut down to just 16 brave men of the Empire. Looks like another Manticore summon coming down in the back lines here. We do have an Earthblood Extended popping up on top of the Demigryph Knights as well, allowing them to trade very effectively up against these Question Knights, saturated on top of Spearmen. And it looks like Gotrek rolling in there and cutting down a Knight in a very dramatic fashion there overall. More men at arms are starting to swarm into these Spearmen here, who have done a pretty decent job protecting Volkmar. And up on the hill, the Steam Tank completely untouched and forgotten about here by the Bretonnians. Up to 53 kills, and he's been firing into Knights a lot of the time, getting some really nice value. Looks like in the background, Pistoliers were chasing off troops. Nice diligent play by Ben the Barman. Always good to chase off troops and ensure the balance of power pushes more and more in your favour. Those guys can't come back to haunt you. Huge engagement in the middle here as Gotrek is cutting down Question Knights with the help of some Spearmen. Looks like the Demigryphs are bouncing back and forth between combats, which is the best way to use them. Make use of their huge charge bonus. As we can see down here, it is 60. Charging to these men at arms and really helping these Spearmen win the day. Down on the low ground though, Rapunz and Felix pretty much untouched. Looks like they are taking some Pistolier shots, but they've lost basically no health to all those volleys. They have managed to beat down multiple units of Spearmen, plus the Sigma Suns as well. And over on the left-hand flank, finally the Bretonnians have managed to push through. Grail Knights assisting Foot Squires need to now circle round here, but really nice, I always forget the name of all of Volkmar's spells here, but there we go, Grand Soulfire, just blitzing these guys as he does roll away with shades on. Pistoliers still doing consistent damage overall. Jade Wizard needs to be a little bit careful as Grail Knights could become a bit of a problem if they manage to pop on. But luckily the Damsel has been forced off by nice focus fire from the Pistoliers. And down the low ground, it's getting pretty close here. We do have Gotrek fighting right close to Rapunz and Felix here. Let's manage to get a pretty decent engagement up against Volkmar. He is more anti-infantry though, and of course Volkmar on his giant magical chariot here will be doing a decent job. He does in fact drop a banishment which pretty much annihilates everything, all of the chaff here, including some of his own troops, but you know, they're Spearmen, they are born to die. But a really nice pick here coming on from the Bretonnians, as Rapunz does run in with Felix, getting a 2v1 versus Volkmar. Gotrek needs to get down here and help protect his lord, but looks like he's turning his back and refusing to fight his brother Felix there, which is very, very dramatic, of course. So, Demigryph Knights in the background, looks like they're going to be chasing down and finishing off some Question Knights, trying to catch them if they can. Oh, looks like they are going to drop off and pop on top of some rallying men-at-arms instead. Nice play, just trying to force all of these troops off. And the backline, these Pistoliers have been consistently firing the entire game here. Imagine slowly drag down at these Grail Knights. The Steam Tank still quite happy to sit here on this hill, up to 90 kills. And Gotrek doing what Gotrek does, cutting up mere peasants. And Foot Squires here who are losing limbs, heads and whatnot. But in comes the Hero Corps. Rapunz managing to convince Felix to go after Gotrek, who's desperately trying to get away. He does not want to be fighting his brother here. Instead, he's going to do a nice swing attack, taking down 2 Grail Knights as a wave of bullets do come in to assist him. Spearmen doing their best to hold back some foot squires, doing it very effectively, as Volkmar just chills on the outside here, and the steam tank gets fantastic value just by hanging out. Demigryph Knights now finishing off some Ground Knights, forcing them to completely be shattered there. They've now get some probably very effective cycle charging, and down on the low ground. You were my brother, Anakin, but no. Gotrek, nice swinging attack goes for after Felix there, battling toe-to-toe, two old friends turned rivals, but with Rapunz here as well. I can't see it's going well for Gotrek. He does get his healing proc there, which is going to keep him in the fight a little bit longer. It looks like a cannon is also assisting, but Felix is relatively tanky for a little human, so is Rapunz. And Gotrek is starting to struggle here, taking a huge amount of damage. He is unarmoured. These guys are doing pretty decent anti-infantry work. Looks like some spearmen are trying to rally over to Gotrek here. But really, Volkmar and Gotrek needed to fight together earlier on. Instead, they've got isolated. And down goes Gotrek, stabbed in the back by Felix there, who continues to protect his lady and move in against these spearmen. That is a devastating blow to the Empire forces. But everywhere else around the battlefield, they have been winning. So Gotrek managed to buy some valuable time and allow the Empire troops just to pick off the kind of remains of the Bretonnians where they could, force them off to retreat, and then run them down using pistoliers who have run out of ammo to chase down troops. Fantastic value overall. Looks like this Jade Wizard is going to get caught finally by some mounted yeomen, but they're pretty weak, and it in fact looks like some pistoliers are going to come out for a counter charge as well, forcing these guys off, and an Earthblood is going to allow the pistoliers to definitely win this engagement. Felix trying to run downhill to meet them, and Rapunz fighting bravely up against some spearmen, but with a very healthy steam tank and a relatively healthy Volkmar, it's going to be tough. Looks like Felix ate a cannonball for his troubles there. Up on the high ground as well, pistoliers and demigryphs now going to be charging downhill, and I think this is going to be game for the Empire. There's just no way this hero core can hold. Felix was even starting to waver just a little bit there, as he does see that his lady is completely surrounded. Volkmar comes in for some vengeance, flinging Felix to the ground and completely shattering him. So a Pyrrhic victory for the Empire, but it can never really be called a victory when you lose the mighty Gotrek. Overall though, two super fun armies, very interesting Empire build. Wouldn't expect this at all, but I quite like the idea of the gold chevron spearmen. Will do very good against light cav and hold the line for a huge amount of time, allowing the steam tank and pistoliers to really get the damage in there. 219 kills as well on these Demigryph Knights with the Lancers. I need to give those guys a go. I always bring the Halberd version, but maybe I am missing something here. Bouncing them between combats really helped crush the very infantry-focused Bretonnian build. And what a fight! Gotrek going down to Felix once and for all, proving that men are better than dwarfs, perhaps. But it's always nice to see a bit of a human-on-human action as well. There's something a little bit special about it, as you don't often see it. So we are in fact doing a double cast today, so we're going to pop into a replay sent in by Consul of Rome. So let's just click on that and get into this one. So it looks like he is in fact bringing the mighty Belagar Iron Hammer here and the Dowie forces with a very interesting build comprising of Peak Gate Guard as well. Nice to see. Up against Mason, bringing Grimgore Ironhide. So hopefully we'll get another legendary character duel here like the previous game. So let's slow it down quickly and go through the armies. So it looks like all of the Dowie forces are hiding in the trees there, which, you know, not a bad shout in case your opponent has brought Doom Divers. And if they've tried flanking behind you, you can often pin units in. I'm sure they'll be marching out pretty soon, though. So in the front lines, we have miners with blasting charges, and they looks like they are flanking Norgrim Ironbreakers, regiment-renowned Ironbreakers. Not only do these guys have a ridiculously cool colour scheme and have very, very useful blasting charges, they will hold for an eternity. You really should go watch Ironbreakers versus Treekin. It just never ends. It's a pretty funny battle. More miners mixed in here as well. Peak Gate Guard, the elite of the elite regiment of renowned hammerers. Once again, looking very glorious in their blue armour here. For leadership, we of course have the mighty Belagar Ironhammer bringing his Oathstone as well, which I'm sure he will plant and hold his ground at some point. In the distance, we have some Bugman Rangers in the middle of this formation. Looks like we have Longbeards holding up the rear and a couple of units of Slayers as well. There's also some Dwarf Warriors mixed in here, but it's quite hard to tell for now. I'll wait for them to get out the trees before we fully analyse his build. Now, it looks like the Greenskins trying to be a little bit sneaky here, which I quite like. We have Night Goblin Squig Hoppers in the back. Fantastic unit against Dwarfs. Anti-infantry, poison, armor piercing. It's everything you want from a Greenskin unit. We also have some nasty Skulkers as well. Looks like they've just been discovered. We have some Orc Boar Boys as well. And then over on the other flank, it looks like we're probably going to have a fairly similar mirror. More Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, more Nasty Skulkers, and once again, more Orc Boar Boys. Those guys are going to have to move pretty quickly over to this engagement, however. Now, for his main battle line, looks like he's gone pretty damn hardcore. We have 2 units of the regular Black Orcs and a Crimson Killers in the middle, doing their best Baywatch impression there as they run gloriously into battle, and they will tear apart most Dowie forces. To be honest, it's really hard to go toe-to-toe with those guys. You have to kind of overwhelm them with numbers. Up front, we have more Grubs, Mangy Marauders as well. But, not bad armor-piercing missiles, probably going to be useful for taking down Slayers as well. And then on the flanks, we have a couple of units of Trolls, who, if they don't get shot down, can do very effective in this battle. We have Night Goblin Shaman as well. Now, I really like the addition here of the Night Shroud can make a unit unspotable, which is super useful if you're bringing an expensive unit like the Crimson Killers. If your opponent's gone for cannons, you pop it on them, and those guys are protected. And of course, he's bringing Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stabbins, the classics. And then the biggest and the baddest, we have Grimgor Ironhide charging through the snow here. So let's get this battle underway. Looks like the Dowie are in fact going to be pushing out of the forest. Now they realise there's no shooting to be had, and they probably want to make the most of their Bugman Rangers. Squig Hoppers being forced wide here. Some Slayers just, letting them know that you can't just come in here and start picking on the Dwarfs. But the Dwarfs are kind of unwittingly here moving into the centre of the trap. It's going to allow these Nasty Skulkers and so forth to flood forwards a lot quicker. We do have the Marauders moving forwards here. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys do shoot. Looks like they are just swinging around for now. Probably going to be taking a bit of fire from the Bugman Rangers, unfortunately, who will do very well against the Marauders. They are very fast, but apart from that, pretty lightly armoured, and missiles can trade very effective against them. So it looks like the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers just getting ready to position themselves in the back. Console has probably spotted this though, and will be kind of countering as much as possible, trying to get into this open ground, maybe even trying to get a bit of the high ground as well. But at this point, he would have seen the Orc Boar Boys are flanking as well, so I expect him to get that dwarf geometry going relatively quickly. Looks like Mangy Marauders still trying to kind of harass where they can, and basically the Greenskins just slowly moving up. Their main battle line being a little bit slow here into action, however. So it looks like we're getting some shots into the Peak Gate Guards, into the rear as well. This is a pretty decent choice. These guys do not have shields. And as you can see, they are taking a relatively okay amount of damage. But the Bugman Rangers going to be replying in kind and tearing down some of those walls with every single volley here, as they do once again flee into the trees. So nice surround coming in so far by the Greenskins, but they really need to get this front line moving as quick as possible. You don't want to give the Dwarfs too long a time to set up nicely, which they currently are doing. I really like this position so far. Miners in front to soak up some of the charges. We have Norgrim Ironbreakers and Peak Gate Guard to go against the Black Orcs, and Slayers who are quite quick, at least for a Dwarf, to protect that back line, and these Bugman Rangers who so far have been able to keep the Greenskin Missile Cav relatively kind of neutered there in the tree line. Looks like the Greenskins, nope, still chilling at the back for now. Maybe he's just focusing his micro on positioning everyone and allowing his Orc Boar Boys to get a nice full surround before he moves in. I suppose, there's not too much range firepower coming in from the Dowie, no cannons or anything, so he can afford to sit back at the moment. Mangy Marauders once again popping forward here, but they don't have the best of targets, getting some nice side attacks into miners, but they're only miners, it doesn't really matter if you kill a few of them. And the Bugman Rangers wheeling about to once again fire a couple of shots in, and every single wolf that goes down is going to be neutering their ability and damage output. So let's speed up a little bit, as it is looking like there's quite a big skirmish phase at the start of this battle. Marauders constantly pushing forward and harassing, but the Black Hawks have finally got on their bicycles and are pushing forward now. Mangy Marauders once again trying to get some pressure on to the miners, but Bugman Rangers just doing a fantastic job in forcing them off. And it looks like the trap has been sprung, so we have Night Goblin Squig Hoppers charging downhill, but baiting out once they see the Slayers. Nasty Skulkers also starting to push in on both flanks, but looks like it was a little bit of a dummy. Charges in, realises there's Slayers there, and once again falls out. But Nasty Skulkers can do a good job up against Dwarf Warriors, and the Black Hawks are slowly getting in position. Belegar's slightly out of position here. Norgrim Ironbreakers will do their blasting charges, but they won't be too effective against the Black Hawks. It looks like Belegar is all alone here, but he's charging in. True hero of the Dowie people here, but a war does meet him as he two-footed charges in to the Crimson Killers, who are incredibly powerful, up to 65 melee attack with that war. And the Peak Gate Guard also charge headlong to Black Orcs. was getting buffed by the Runestone. So we have some souped up Peak Gate Guard against some souped up Black Orcs. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one unfolds. Trolls on the high ground doing a decent job just beating the crap out of miners is what you expect. And then the backline Nasty Skulks have been kind of mainly fended off by Dwarf Warriors, but we have some Night Golden Squig Hoppers popping down as well, who will mulch through miners very, very quickly. On the other flank, it looks like the Slayers have been used to bulk up and push away the Orc Boar Boys on both flanks. Nice kind of counterpick on the left-hand side here by the Dwarfs. More Slayers need to get involved as well, as some of the Bugman Rangers have been compromised here by Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. The main engagement, though, down here in the front line, Belegar's beating the crap out of that Night Goblin Shaman, but at what cost here? Down to less than a quarter health. The Crimson Killers have gone to town on him, losing half health themselves, though, by those satchel charges coming by Norgrim Ironbreakers. But is it worth losing Belegar? I'm not so sure here. Looks like Night Goblin Squig Hoppers have been forced off here in the back line. Slayer's doing a fantastic job trying to defend these beleaguered Bugman Rangers. And the right-hand flank was pretty undersized here. Looks like Dwarfs maybe won it. Left-hand flank, they're looking pretty strong as well. The problem facing Greenskins, of course, is they keep coming back for more. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are going to be mulching through some miners super quick here with some very cool attack animations. Bugman Rangers supporting where they can, though, getting some shots in, and even miners still have 80 armour, so we'll hold it for a short amount of time. Looks like Belegar has managed to be saved here by Norgrim Ironbreakers, who have now charged in, but they are fighting a 2v1 situation. There is a very healthy unit of Black Orcs supporting the Crimson Killers. Looks like we do have an Itchy Nuisance gone down, though, which is going to make these Norgrim Ironbreakers pretty useless in combat. 14 melee attackers mean they're basically going to do 0 damage output, at least while that is active. Trolls, on the other hand, have been forced off. Looks like they found themselves in combat with some Slayers. Definitely not where they want to be. They can simply run away, regenerate, and come back to fight another day. Bugman Rangers once again active, getting some nice shots in. And that's one thing you'll notice if you've seen my channel quite a bit. You may have noticed Consular Rome features a decent amount. He is very good at protecting his backline. So even though he is 2 units of Bugman Rangers, and there was so much backline pressure of Nasty Skulkers and Squig Hoppers, Bugman Rangers 43 and 16 kills overall. Longbeard's going to be pushing up to try and help out these Slayers up against Grimgor, but Belegar, danger close here to the big Orc himself, needs to fall back as quick as possible, and he does. Mighty Oakstone give him a bit of extra melee defense, and he's falling back down that hill. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, looks like they're going to get a rear charge for some Nasty Skulkers, and Trolls are rallying all around the place. Crimson Killers have finally been forced off, down to 17 models and only 18 kills, but they did do a significant amount of work up against Belegar himself. Dwarf Warriors taking some nasty charge from Orc Boar Boys, who is an interesting pick here. They are anti-infantry and armor piercing, but overall I don't rate them too highly as a unit. Slayers also are driving off another unit on this flank down here. This centre core is going to be so hard to take down, though. 56 Black Orcs plus some Trolls and a very healthy Grimgor is going to be a bit of a challenge, and Belegar once again is forced off down to just 330 health. I don't think there's much hope of him coming back here. Well, he probably is going to rally, but if I was a Greenskin player, take any units in the back line here. Take these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers who have rallied and just pop on and chase him off is probably your best bet. It looks like we do have another Itchy Nuisance coming down. So that Goblin Shaman managed to survive the initial engagement up against Belegar, who almost killed himself in the process, has managed to rally and get off a few decent spells, making some very good value overall. Bugman Rangers, still both alive and healthy. Slayer's going to be having to come in here and defend against the Orc Boar Boys, you would imagine. And this centre fight now, Thorin Ironbrow trying his best here to go up against the mighty Grimgor. Of course, he is a Fearer, and I do not believe Grimgor does magic attacks, but he's still one dwarf up against a lot of Black Orcs here. And the Peak Gate Guard, 69 kills, very impressive considering some of the initial engagements are slowly going down and are going to be abandoning the legendary Dowie Warrior. But Norgrim Ironbreakers holding firm, standing by his side. With some Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, who need to get active again and push over, probably help finish off the Crimson Killers, or these nasty Skulkers. And there's a nice pocket of strength for the Dowie on this left-hand flank, though Belegar once again rallies to his troops here, and Dwarf Warriors doing a decent job pinning in these Orc Boar Boys and allowing the Bugman Rangers to turn and shoot as well, which should probably also fend off those nasty Trolls. Peak Gate Guard still fighting here, but a couple more do go down there, bodies being flung around, and another War goes down, which is the main benefit of Grimgor. So here's a little bit of a meme, not the most competitive pick, but by no means as bad as people make him out to be. You do tend to get 2 or even 3 wars a game, which is pretty huge, Foreign Ironbrow is really feeling the brunt of it now, going down to just 250 health here. There's no way he's going to be getting out of that. So Buckman Rangers are trying to fall back behind the protective wall of these Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors, who are doing a very good job trying to protect them, and we have managed to shatter off some Night Goblin Squighoppers here, but it looks like some Trolls managed to fell the mighty Belagar Ironhammer here, who lays down face down in the snow. But in retaliation, the Trolls have also been completely shattered by some very vengeful Longbeards here. Now, going up against Dwarfs, even if you kill their lord, they have such great leadership that they will often stand and fight. These Buckman Rangers now have a really decent firing position as well. We need to start laying some shots into those Black Orcs and Trolls, trying to force them off where possible. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass fighting back to back here, completely surrounded up against Grimgor and his cronies. Looks like they're actually trying to fall back out there as much as possible in drips and drabs and hop on top of this Night Goblin Shaman, which would be a very decent pick. Archer Fire coming in is hopefully going to break these Trolls for the Dowie. It looks like they are going to get a charge in and send some of those Dwarf Warriors absolutely flying there, coming in with a vengeance. That's also going to buff their leadership up as they do get a few kills. Orc Boar Boys charging in to assist as well, but I think the Dwarfs should be able to rally on this left-hand side. But Black Orcs could be used now to just hunt down Buckman Rangers, but they are running very low on ammo here. Grimgor's also going to go say a little bit of a hello, I think, over here. Raises his axe high up into the sky, and boom. A load of Buckman Rangers go flying as he does come in with 100 kills now on Grimgor. Very, very impressive. Some Trolls have been forced off, but of course these guys do have regeneration, and considering the battle is very heavily in the Greenskins' favour now, they should be able to rally, heal up, and come back and affect the game. I just don't see what the Dwarfs have left to kill off these 29 Black Orcs and Grimgor Ironhide. We do have a few blasting charges coming in, which can do a tiny bit of damage. Looks like Night Goblin Shaman did manage to escape the presence of the Warriors Dragonfire Pass. Some Orc Boar Boys have been routed off as well, so very close fight here. Bounce power quite heavily in favour of the Greenskins, but I think that's probably because they still have some leadership. But pretty damn close. Black Orcs really need to get engaged here, come and help protect Grimgor. They need to fight together here. And also bring these Trolls back. I mean, up to 2,100 health. You can see them regenerating. But he doesn't want to leave this too late. I think the Greenskins definitely have a massive advantage here. But they need to get all their units engaged as quick as possible. Bring the Trolls down and keep them fighting in the action. Of course, Warriors Dragonfire Pass do fire damage, so try and avoid them as much as possible. But come over here, crush this flank here, and allow Grimgor to deal personally the Norgrim Ironbreakers and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. As you can see, he's doing that very effectively here. Still has 1,400 health, and with every swing, he's killing multiple Dwarfs here, writing a lot of grudges into the book. It's like Black Orcs are still not really fully engaged here. They need to get moving and really rally to their king here. Trolls equally up to 2,300 health. Maybe he's just trying to heal them up as much as possible, but I definitely think they need to get into the action. There's some Buckman Rangers here, but let's see, do they have any ammunition left? No, so there's basically no threats to them. Yeah, bring these guys downhill, get a nice charge in, move the Black Orcs in as well, and the Greenskins should have this fairly comfortably. Grimgor popping all his buffs though, and is trying to single-handedly do it. Perhaps he's ordered his troops to stay out of his bout. He wants to get in there, get the glory where possible. We do have a few kind of rallying troops of Dowie as well. Looks like they're going to actually go and try and hunt down this Night Goblin Shaman here. But if he's coming back for another itchy nuisance, could be a real disaster here for these remaining troops. Black Orcs finally get engaged here and start tearing apart the Warriors Dragonfire Pass, who are in fact going to break, which will allow the Trolls to come in safely. Up to 2,500 health now, and there's just no way the Dwarfs can win this. So, Night Goblin Shaman, we do have the Dwarf Warriors, going to be cutting him down for the most part. Looks like he just charges on for a suicide charge, maybe no winds of magic left. He's getting beaten the crap out of though, and down he goes. 620 health, but he does start to flee, and he might even shatter. And it seems like a Pyrrhic victory for the Dowie. I think the Greenskin player probably conceded there, which is very, very odd. He certainly had this game in the bag with Grimgor, the Black Orcs, and Trolls, but perhaps the Goblin Shaman was the true leader of the army, and with him gone, he thought it wasn't worth it. So very strange end to a battle there, but very entertaining battle overall, super close, and I quite enjoyed both players' builds. A lot of people, especially newer players, tend to go with far too much range for the Dowie in this matchup, and it is really hard to protect your back line. People think playing defensive is very easy. Playing defensive well is incredibly hard, as people put pressure on you from all angles. You need to protect that back line. So with just 2 units of Bugman Rangers, not too hard to protect those guys with a couple of units of Slayers, and then going toe to toe with the Greenskins in combat, bringing in the elite Peak Gate Guard, 69 kills, and Norgrim Ironbreaker's doing a decent job as well. I think Belegar overextended at the start really cost the Dowie though. He managed to beat back the Night Goblin Shaman and do a decent amount of work to the Crimson Killers, pinning those guys in and allowing the miners with Blast Charge to get a huge amount of HP damage on them, but he really got pushed back and then was on the back foot the rest of the game. Grimgor, 161 kills, proving that he is the biggest and the baddest, but very well played to both players. And a massive shout out as well to Ben the Barman and Constant Rome for sending in these replays. If you do want to send in replays to me, I do have a Discord channel, so please message me on Discord. My name is Rubber Duck of War. I'll get you added in, and you can feel free to send in replays, join in with tournaments and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Please do press that big old thumbs up button if you don't mind if you did enjoy. It really lets me know what you guys like to see, so I can kind of tailor my content, and really helps out the channel. Feel free to stick around and subscribe as well if you enjoy all Total War content. And we've gained quite a few subscribers actually over the last couple of days. Massive shout out to Dwarfs Plays, who gave me a card to one of my games on his channel. So I got a few of his followers over to mine. So welcome to my channel. We are going to be doing a 250 subscriber special stream, hopefully on Wednesday or possibly Thursday. Depends on my schedule, which I've got a few little stupid things in mind. It's going to be a bit of a silly stream, but should be some good fun. And finally, if you want to support the channel any other way, I do have a Patreon account just down below. But anyway, guys, until next time, peace, and stay awesome.